Good morning, everybody. With all of the sickness, I decided to just make a quick video of what you may have missed yesterday in school. If you were absent on Wednesday, let's see, that was February the 5th, I think, February 5th, Wednesday. If you were absent that day, you missed a big lesson. So I wanted to definitely catch you guys up. So first off, you want to set up your interactive notebook. This goes on page 10, which is 10. So pause the video, set that up. Make sure you get it on the table of contents and that you put your page number on page 10, 10, and that you write Género, Números, y Artículos up at the top of the page. So that means gender, number, and articles. Your first note, and again, just pause when you need to, pause the video. Your first note is that all nouns have a gender. So what that means is that nouns are either masculine or feminine. So in English, this makes sense. People are male or female, and so we say he and she and all this stuff. So with people, it makes sense. With things, though, coming from English, this is super weird for us. So it's really strange. The wall is feminine, the ceiling is masculine, the sun is masculine, the stars are feminine. There's really no rhyme or reason. There's nothing about the object itself that makes it masculine or feminine. But there is something about the word that can kind of clue you in as to whether something is masculine or feminine. So your next little bit of notes, we're gonna make a little chart. Up at the top, it will say masculine and feminine, like this. And then we are going to write down some common endings to words. So, if I can get this written down. So these are the endings, get those in your notes. If a word ends in O, like the word bolígrafo, we see that O there, and so we can assume most likely that's a masculine word. Again, you just have to accept it. It's strange. If you have a word that ends in A, like pizarra, the word pizarra ends in an A, we can assume that's a feminine word. If we have something that ends in tad or dad or sion, we don't have any of those vocab words left or yet, but the word libertad ends in tad. It means liberty. It's a feminine word. If you have something like nación, that ends in sion, that's a feminine word. But basically for us in this chapter, we're focusing on O being masculine and A being feminine. So that'll pretty much get us through. Now the next thing you need to know is that articles, or articles have to be used to agree with the noun. So we will write that down as articles have to agree with the noun. Now you probably don't know what an article is, and that's okay with the noun. So we're gonna get there. So articles have to agree with the noun. Write that down. Again, pause when you need to. So articles have to agree with the noun. What the heck does that mean? First off, you need to know the noun is the most important part of a sentence as far as grammar is concerned. So it's like the sun. Everything is going to revolve around it. So if your noun is masculine, everything else in the sentence that's going along with that needs to be masculine. If your noun is feminine, everything else that can be feminine in that sentence needs to be feminine. So basically we're talking about adjectives for the most part. So if I've got a red apple, the word apple is feminine, so the word red is going to have to be feminine. Now we're not going to get there yet. Today we're just working on nouns. We're not making other things agree. So we're just trying to wrap our minds around this. So our next little note, we have definite articles. Definite articles. And definite articles are just a grammar term, like we have nouns, adjectives, adverbs, etc. Definite articles is just a grammar term that means the word the. So in Spanish, we actually have 4 words for the. So right now we're just going to look at 2 of them. So we have singular masculine words and singular feminine words for thee. The masculine word for thee is el, and the feminine word for thee is la. So I just said everything revolves around that noun. Articles are one of those things. So if we go back to my examples, bolígrafo, that means pen. If I want to say the pen, since bolígrafo is masculine, I need the masculine word for the. So the pen would be el bolígrafo. And then if my word is feminine, like pizarra, I need the feminine word for thee. So in this case, pizarra, if I want to say the board instead of just board, it's going to be la pizarra. So that's where we're going to pause right now, el or la. So pause this video and I want you to open up activity 1 in your ebook. So log into Voces, activity 1, and all you're doing there is typing in either el or la. Ooh, before you do that, we do have some exceptions to the rule. So we know that our list, O tends to be masculine, A tends to be feminine, but there are unfortunately exceptions. And I kind of hate that because Spanish doesn't have a lot of exceptions in general with grammar, but we do with nouns. We have quite a few exceptions. So you have to be kind of careful. A couple that you're gonna see in activity 1 are clima and mano. So the word clima, it ends in an A, so it looks feminine, but it's actually not. It's masculine, so it's just an exception. It's el clima, and that means the weather. And then the other exception you're gonna see today is the word mano. It ends in an O, so we think it should be masculine, but it's not, it's feminine. So it's gonna be la mano. So that is something to be aware of. Another thing going along with activity 1, if you've got a word like cartel, that word cartel does not end in any of our endings. It just ends in an L. So when that happens, the bad news is, just like with the exceptions, you really just have to memorize it. So you want to look at your vocabulary list, see if it says el cartel or la cartel, and that is your answer. So if it says el cartel, you know cartel is masculine. If it says la cartel, then you know that cartel is feminine. So look at your vocab list. You can open up a second tab and get that from the ebook, or you can get your hard copy out that you got last week. Let's see, anything else? I think that's pretty much it. So go ahead, work on activity 1. It is set up to not disappear until you get 100%. There are only 2 possible answers, but don't take the easy way out. Actually think through it before you go back, you know, and just take random guesses, all right? So look at your vocab list.